What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Plant Movement Podcast, guys. And this episode screams so much. We interview Paul, the Miami landscaper that started something that he felt that he needed to do called the Landscape Brotherhood, but then he kicked it up a notch, wanting to do something more. He was being called to do something more, to start a podcast for the blue-collar workers, because he feels that they don't get appreciated as much as they should. And it's true, guys. You guys in this green industry, you got to look at yourself as monsters, that you can climb the ladder and scale. You don't have to be a business owner. I feel like what social media does to people, it puts you in a place that you're not supposed to be thinking about. And then you want something that someone else has, and you're like, oh, I'm going to see how I'm going to get there. And you want to go and start a business. And it's not for everybody. So the fact that he's doing this podcast means a lot. It shows that you don't have to go after the money, that you can go after things that really touch your soul and move you. Just like what we're doing here with this podcast, to move, to educate, all of these different things, guys. And I want you guys, if you guys are feeling moved to do something, to start something, to say something, whatever it may be, you have to go after those callings, because you never know what's on the other side of them. And if you don't go, that's the mystery. What could have happened? And that's why I encourage you guys to listen to this episode. We talk about a lot of different things in this episode. But what I took from this episode that hit the hardest is a young man in the industry trying to make a difference. And that right there screams for itself. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right in. Paul, let's go. Let's hit him with the fire.
Are you ready to grow? The Plant Movement with Willie Rodriguez of A's Ornamental Nursery in sunny South Florida is the podcast for those in the nursery business. Garden centers, landscapers, power growers, and plant enthusiasts. Willie is a passionate leader in the plant movement and has helped others grow their business into multi-million-dollar companies. This show will save you time, money, and headaches through top-notch education and by connecting you to experts in the industry. Let's grow. Here's your host, Willie Rodriguez.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Plant Movement Podcast. We have a guest in the house that's returning to talk about so much that he's been doing in his life. We have Paul Capote with PGL, which is Paul's General Landscaping. Paul's General Landscaping. I'm sorry. Paul's General Landscaping. He started a podcast. What's the name of the podcast, Paul?
We the Tradesmen.
We the Tradesmen. Man, there's just so much to talk about, dude. Thank you so much for coming back.
Of course.
I love seeing people that are moving, or trying to do something that they feel passionate about. For me, that's that wavelength that we're all on. We're all on that wavelength of trying to do something that we feel that we want to do, and we don't care. You overcome so many things to be able to get to that point.
Our calling. We got a calling.
It's a calling, bro, and it's a calling from somewhere inside of us. For me, it's the man upstairs. For someone else, it might be something that just energizes them to move that way. But Paul, dude, thank you for coming for real. Return guest on the show, and I know things have been wild for you. Like,
yes.
Just before we even started recording, guys, like we had to stop. We'll talk about that on the podcast, because there's so much to talk about. And when you know somebody, it's even better.
It's hard to put it all in one quick meeting.
It's hard. It's hard. But talk to me, bro. I want to start off with let's start off from where you were back on the last podcast. It's been about a year and a half.
I like that.
It's been about a year and a half. Tell me what are some of the things that you were working on back then that you've been able to achieve, you've been able to overcome all these things, battles in your brain.
For sure. To
get to where you are, let's say right now. You started the Landscape Brotherhood. That's something that you didn't have going on back then.
It was picking up. Yeah, it was starting to gain traction. So I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot has changed just in a year and a half, 2 years. I feel like after 2020, that's where like a good mark of tracking things, because a lot of things got disrupted. Every industry really. But last time we met, I was still, there's things that I did. I'm still doing the same, like consistency. There's certain things that stay the same, and then there's a lot of things that you have to work on. For many years, I ran very disorganized. And so year by year, day by day, I always try to be diligent, reading a lot. And just try to run a business like a business should be ran, not just like a hobby and just like I got work, because like I fell for that. Like I had work. I always had work. But are you running like a profitable business? So through the growth, about a couple years ago, I took on a lot of debts, which I'm always very open to talk about.
I remember we talked about that last time.
And you gave me props because most people don't open up. And I'm not here to flaunt and say I got all these cool trucks and I just paid it cash or I have everything's just rolling. No, there was a point where it was good, where it was real good, and there was a point where it wasn't so good. So you have to be able to stick through and keep your relationships as strong as possible. I have a little note in my office that says reputation will save you.
100%. I love that.
Because
that's very true, man. Yeah, man. You don't need money, bro. You need to be a man.
Yeah,
man
exactly.
of your word.
Because I'm not gonna tell you that I didn't get backed up on certain stuff. But what do? You pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm working on it. We're good."
Bro, I love that. Give me a high five, bro.
No, for sure.
No, that you don't know how many mountains you can move by just having that attitude.
Yeah, and I don't try to make that super like a popular thing.
Yeah.
But people.
That's the right thing to do. Though.
People see the page. Miami landscaper. Oh, you're killing it. Yeah, it's going good. I'm not gonna tell you it's bad, but I go through a lot of challenges to be where I took the business. So back to that, like the Isuzu, the MT100. I totally transformed the business because I was a lawn guy. I was just cutting grass, and then designs were coming in. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot has changed. And as you know, the work was people were just throwing us money at one point. So when it was good, and then things slowed down a little bit. All those debts are still there. All that stuff has to get paid. So it comes with clarity, with your vendors, your employees, everybody. And I did some cleaning up of the crew too. If that was a problem, clean up that as well. Whatever needs cleaning needs to get shaken around. But
no, and that's big for you to even notice it.
For sure.
You can go 10 years and never notice it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what was happening. I've been landscaping for 14.
Yeah.
So I felt stagnant. I was just kind of working just to work and the day-to-day. So just becoming more diligent, finding people like yourself in the industry, like Paul Jameson, all those guys that spread all this information. That's what led me to kind of starting my own podcast. But now, today, a couple weeks ago, I just finished one of these what do you call those, like hard cash loans or one of those loans, like a short-term, one of those short-term loans. I just
those are the scariest ones, man. Guys. Don't get in that.
Yeah.
You got out of it?
Yeah, I finally did.
Amen to that, bro. Give me another 5.
Thank you, man.
Guys, that is murder. That is putting the noose around your neck. For real. It's like going to Amscot and getting a payday loan.
Yeah.
At 1,000,000%.
Back to that, when it was good, it was good. You cover, cover a couple leaks, let's call it. Let's patch up some leaks, and you'll run for a couple weeks or a couple months until the
leak comes back and you have no more tape.
To more leaks.
Exactly. The tape disconnects and now you have no more tape in the roll to go and do it.
You need to change the whole gas tank. No
for
more.
For real, man. No, it's brutal.
So I try to keep my reputation as clean as possible, show face, because I speak to some vendors and they appreciate that because then other people don't answer.
Yeah.
They don't call back.
Always answer, guys. Always.
If you're in a tight spot, tell them where you're at. Do what you can.
Be honest.
Be honest.
No, and one thing I would like to say. I'm sorry to cut you off. When you open up to a person, and you really let them know what's going on, and you let them know that, hey, I did this, I made the wrong decision, and I'm doing this now, and I'm catching this, and I'm doing that. At least for me, I appreciate that. I see where the person's trying to go, and all I want to do is feed into them.
Yeah.
And help them.
That's a great point.
Get out of that.
People genuinely want to help, but help the right people.
Yeah.
So I've spoke to some people about that. I don't want to shout out names or nothing like that. It's a personal thing,
of course.
But I've said it. I'm nothing without some of my vendors.
Yeah.
And there has to be a collaboration.
Yeah.
Especially a small business like myself. I'm young. It's not like this big corporation thing where it's like you guys got to figure it out. You guys got this.
How many guys you got?
4 guys.
4 guys and 2 trucks.
Yeah.
2 trucks.
2 trucks.
2 trucks. Okay.
So to this date now I'm finally catching up. Now things are gonna start rolling a little smoother. It's not gonna happen overnight either.
No, it doesn't.
So you're not gonna one day to the next everything's fixed up. So I'm still working on that and keeping the communication good with my people. But I'm already starting to see the benefits. I spoke about the light at the end of the tunnel. I paid off a trailer not too long ago.
Congrats.
So all those little things start to add up and free free up some space to finally, once again grow the business and run a profitable operation.
Yeah, it's gonna go back into something.
Yeah,
because
it always goes somewhere.
Let's say you guys have $3,000 in payments and you pay all that off, and you're like, man, I don't have to spend this $3,000 anymore. I can put it away, or I can keep it, I can use it, I can consume it. A business like what you paid off, most likely once it's paid off, it's gonna break down. It's gonna need repairs.
Now you need to fix
and
the
then
trailer.
You need to fix that. But then go into growth, right? So now you're moving. You want to continue to grow your business. That money's going to go into the next machine. So the payments really never leave.
Yeah.
But it does feel good to accomplish something that was so heavy on you.
Yeah.
That right there is one of the wins. It's like, man, thank you, God. I got rid of this thing. I'm done.
One of the reasons why I bring it up is because, I could keep it quiet or whatnot, but I know there's a lot of people that are struggling too, and then they see me and they're like, "Oh man, you must be killing." No, I went through a lot too, but it's a matter of pulling through and not quitting. At the end of the day, you quit and then that's it. A lot of people sold their stuff like the COVID boom. They went through it, made some money, and then that's it.
You're right. I got a lot of phone calls. Hey, I got this. I got bucket trucks. I got whatever you need. Trailers, and I've had a bunch of those phone calls, and it's sad. And most of them, I told them. Even trucking, a guy that's doing trucking. A lot
of trucking guys.
I told him, I said, dude, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, man. Do you have any money put away? And I asked them this, which is a question that's, personal. But, if you want to get some guidance, you have to open up.
Yeah.
So I asked this individual, how much money you got? Oh, I got 20 grand. Perfect. How much do you spend a month? $3,500. You're good, bro. Don't sell anything.
Crazy.
Don't sell nothing because it slowed down for the past 3 weeks. You can't make moves that crazy. Just wait because the opportunity might arise. What are you doing to try to push you getting your truck on the road all the time? You can't, just because one thing fell off doesn't mean that's the only opportunity that you have. You got to go after it.
There's always going to be some type of challenge.
There's always challenges. And like me, I'm sitting here today, I'm stacked with debt.
Yeah.
Stacked with debt as well. But it's something that...
you got to cash flow it. Cash flow that.
Cash flow is definitely the number one focus.
Yeah.
When you open any business needs a solid cash flow. But I do know that cash flow can get cut.
Yeah.
Because I've talked about it before. When COVID came, I had 2 months, 90% negative in sales.
Yeah.
So that was a cash flow problem. And I thank God that I had put money into investments to be able to, if I needed funds, at least I had something paid off that I can extract from. But that is always inevitable in whatever you're in.
Yeah.
So Eddie has a good point. Yeah, when we first started the podcast, I pretty much was debt free. I think I owed maybe a 0.5% of the portfolio on debt, and today it's gone up. It's probably like at 20%, 25% of the portfolio. But big moves have been made, and then all the debt is to build and create opportunities, to build build what's going on and create opportunities for others.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the opportunity to do so. And I don't like money. I don't like having money. I like to be pinned up against the wall.
Yeah, it's always like
because you can only move forward.
I feel like it's.
Oh, cash.
You don't say money.
No, I don't like cash. I think cash is the worst asset to have. I think you do need some. And everyone listening, the way the world is today, I would definitely have some 5s, 10s, and 20s stashed maybe at your mom's house or somewhere.
Somewhere hidden.
That way you have that safety net. We're sitting here today. AT&T went out yesterday, and I know how the world is. People freak out.
Things are getting weird.
Things are getting weird. So it's like, I know that money is a tool at the end of the day, and if you guys struggle with this, money's a tool, guys. That's all it is. And if you don't put it into play, you don't use your tool, then you're not going to be able to grow it. And I do not like seeing money in my account. When I go saving up for something, it is for something to go execute, but then I'm back at zero.
You're a 10X guy. You're a Grant guy.
Yeah, back at zero. No, because, you got to compound. How do you grow, Paul?
Yeah.
You got to compound your profits.
I'd like to give an example. I had like 8 guys running around with 8 guys. It's a lot of labor. And, but what did I do? I started investing in some machinery, the MT100, the stump grinder, this. Now I could do jobs with 4 or 5 guys that I'm doing with 1 helper and the machines.
Yeah.
And
more efficient.
I took on some debt on the machine, but Now
it's less of a liability.
A lot, yeah.
Less workers' comp, less all of that.
When you see the jobs roll super smooth and the guys aren't all beat, that's another thing. You don't want to like wear down the guys where they're not at the right mental state, because it's a very physical, demanding job.
100%.
So make it good for your crew, make it easy for your crew, and that's what I did. So some jobs I had to, hey, the machine. That machine over there. I reminded $36,000 sitting there.
Because
don't let it just sit there.
They're used to doing it the other way.
Yeah, it's okay. I got it. No. But then when they're, oh man, yesterday was rough. Yeah. Of course it was. You didn't use the machine, or yesterday wasn't as bad, and we accomplished a lot because you're using the proper equipment.
No, and that's good too. That you're investing into things that help your guys be more efficient. I know. Let's say a business owner is going to always look at the money first, where it's like, if I'm paying 3 guys to do this and I get a machine and pay one payment of $1,000, I'm saving all this money every week and all this stuff. I get that. But there's a whole other way to look at it, which is looking at it in the benefit of your crew and the benefit of your team. Yeah, stick around and be able to be more efficient and not hurt themselves, and, all those other things that go into our work. Guys, what both of us do, I grow plants and ship plants, and he does landscaping. They are both jobs that fingers can get cut off, your arm can get cut off, you can break a leg, you get ran over, you can fall out of a ladder. There's a lot of things that can happen. So, as a boss, thinking in that method as well, I feel like that goes towards the culture, a more positive culture. And your guys, too, they see that you're investing into their benefit, long term, and I feel like that helps you grow a positive culture at the end of the day too.
Yeah, I like what you talk about, you guiding your guys with money, financial guidance.
Oh yeah,
it's super important. A lot of people don't care what their employees do with their money, but what a problem is when they're getting paid, let's say fair or more than fair or whatever it is, they just manage to blow it, and then you're the bad guy because you don't pay them enough and they work so hard. No, you're blowing your money. Or you're sending it here and you're sending it there.
One thing that I've realized is they're there because it's a greater opportunity than what they had. Correct?
Yeah.
So now they grab that opportunity. They're making more money than they ever did, but they've had years of waiting to make that money. So there's so many things that they want to buy or that they want to do because I deserve it. And I don't live with that mentality. I don't deserve nothing.
And then when they got no cash, boss, I need a raise, man.
Yeah, stuff like that. So it's at that moment. And I do that a lot, man. I do that a lot. It's not, hey, I'm going to make more money. I'm going to go buy a new car. I'm going to floss. I'm going to do all this stuff. No. And I tell them straight up, you have an opportunity here to build and to grow. So if you've been making $13 an hour your whole life, and now you have an opportunity to make $25, please only take $15 an hour. And the rest, put it away. If you're not good at it, I'll keep it. I won't pay you. For real. And I'll go making a savings account for you. Let me do that for you. Because I want the people that duke it out and ride, I want them to have opportunities too. But it comes with guidance. They need guidance. People need guidance.
I've seen people with bad spending habits and good spending habits. And the ones that are very careful with their money, they're less stressed.
100%.
So then they come and bring this stress onto the job, clear mind. And it's like, man, this is a personal issue that now is affecting them, and you paid them, and then they want, more in advance, or I got backed up with this. It's like you're the problem. It's
not your problem. Yeah, no, I see a lot of that, dude, and that does come with it. Peace of mind, guys. If you guys are looking for peace of mind, there's a lot of things that create that I can talk about. One for me being my faith with God, but it is for sure having a cushion. That cushion, man, it's hard to get to because it took me a long time to get to a cushion. But having a cushion, it makes you more free. You know what you can do, instinctively. You don't have to, let's say, count the pennies anymore because you have something put away. So it's like, all right, I'm good. This happens, I'm good. I have this safety net. And it allows you to be more just free and clear. And then on a personal level, you don't know if they have problems with their partner, problems with this, problem with the law, problems with whatever. And just having at least that cushion. If it's with the law, that's something else. But having that cushion does help out just in general.
Well, I guess we could kind of transition to a little bit of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. So
and that on that point, the trades have attracted people that are typically going through a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always helped people since I started my business.
Mm-hmm.
Either they were getting ready to go to boot camp. I remember like one of my first employees, they were getting ready to go to a military boot camp. So they can't get a job because they're going to leave soon.
Yeah.
So it was always, or they have a rough patch at home and or something happened, or they lost their car.
Yeah.
So now they need to get picked up. So there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
That we end up, and some of those guys are great people and they grow and they learn. Some don't, but a lot can grow and they have potential. They just went through a hard time. But my goal with talking about the trades is if we can speak better about it, talk to the youth about it, and like break that cycle where, you know, people that are not at the bottom of their, you know, like not bottom, like how would I say, going through a rough patch, that's when like, let's go landscape, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard to say, you know, hey, that's what people go to school for or whatever, but that's shown that school isn't always the answer.
Yeah.
So if you would take a career like landscaping serious, you could start young and move fast. But they look at it as just, you know, to get out of the situation they're in.
Yeah. Tell me what made you want to start a podcast, go through all this trouble, invest money, invest time, which is you're going to be investing time into growing PGL.
Yeah.
What made you want to do that? I know it started with you wanting to do more with, and you started the Landscape Brotherhood, connecting people and making a difference. I see that in you, brother, that you are fueled to do more.
Yes, thank you.
And you're after what your purpose is, and it's more than just doing landscaping.
Yeah.
And you've been through a lot. So what made you want to go and have to do all of this and put this pressure on you? Because this is a pressure, guys. I know it doesn't look like it, but yeah, it's a pressure. We have a million things going on. We all have things going on. And we made a commitment that, we're going to do this. Correct. What made you want to do that?
So I feel like we live in a day and age, in a society where everyone's quick to complain about the situation around us. And then when it's like, okay, who's willing to help? And then, oh, I'm busy. I know that everyone's busy, you know? So am I, like you just said. We have plenty of stuff to do. And sometimes we question ourselves, like, man, I have so much stuff to do. Like, is this really what I should be doing right now? And you never know who's listening. You know, you've inspired me. You've inspired people you've never met. You know, and vice versa. You know, people reach out to me I've never met, say, hey, man, thank you. You know, I'm learning. And so all that means a lot. But it comes down to people saying, oh, we need some change. Or in the podcast in particular, no one wants to work these days. It's like, no one wants to work for you. You're looking in the wrong places. And so somebody has to be the voice. So hopefully the younger generation isn't so ashamed to go work with their hands and put some boots on.
What moved you to do this? Where you said, you know what, I'm going to do this.
I just don't like being average and like just settling.
But why that?
Like it comes down to like, you know, the business, cool. It's selfish.
Why the trades? Why the trades?
I would say it's a personal thing because of like, and that's why I wear it nowadays. I even wear the cowboy hat. I'm going like all in on blue collar.
Yeah.
Because so many people doubted me. You know, a lot of people did give me support. I'm not gonna say like everyone's like you know, but a lot of people did think, are you really gonna do this, man? You know, and now we're in a position where it's like, I feel like we have a lot to big shoes to fill. You know, people keep retiring, and contractors keep retiring. They're getting older, especially in our city. You know, a lot of people came at the same time in the 80s. Our parents came in the 80s, at least mine did. It's kind of all like a time effect. Mm-hmm. So who's going to be responsible for when this building needs brand new landscaping and this and that and all this stuff? Are we going to leave it up to Brightview?
Yeah, right.
You know, like they're just going to monopolize everything.
No, that's what we're seeing. Yeah.
And the stigma on blue collar, you know, some of these industries, they make big bucks, man, but it's really hard stuff, but they don't talk about it in school. They don't talk about in school how you could be a welder and be a master at your craft and bring in some solid money. Now try to find a welder. Like when you do find a good welder, you're like, okay, I have like a bunch of stuff for you to do because you're the only guy that knows how to do it.
No, it's hard, man. There's not a lot of welders, and then a lot of the welders they don't come through.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the other thing. So there might be 20 welders in your neighborhood or in your community, but only 3 of them answer the phone, or only 3 of them actually get the work done in a timely fashion. So there's a lot of things to overcome. But the one thing I was getting at earlier, and now it's come back to me, guys, for you guys listening, the tradesmen, your job, our jobs are so important. They are so vital. And if you are thinking that you cannot climb the ladder being a tradesman, you have it wrong, because you haven't been exposed to the opportunities that are in the world of a tradesman. Yes, you can climb, but you have to want to.
Yeah.
But can you climb? Yes. I know people that started off mowing lawns, and today they're certified arborists, and now they're making a couple $100,000 a year because they know what tree to trim, and people pay them for it. So it's more of what you are after.
Yeah.
But everything is possible. And then another thing, one thing that I've noticed, I hired a guy yesterday, and I told him my job is not to get you to make $100,000 as a driver. Okay? My job is to get you in a comfortable position, 50, 60, 65,000 a year, something that you have not. And I'm opening up telling you guys all of this. Something that you have not received. Working at Walmart at night, $16 an hour. Working at an auto parts store, $13 an hour. Part-time, 2 part-times. My job is to educate you and build you up as a man, okay, that has respect. And now from there, you can discipline yourself to not spend all your money, okay? If you need to better your car because this car is a little banged up, go spend $5, $6, $7 grand, go get a car cash. And after that, let's work on your credit. And let's work on getting you somewhere else, because I feel like people are, one, they can stick around for a long time, which is great, but it's not my obligation to go build your future.
Yeah.
It's your obligation. I can give you the tool bag. Now, can you have an apartment that you rented out of your Airbnb with your wife? 100%. But you got to live in the trailer.
Yeah.
You live in the trailer for $850 a month, and you bought the house for $300, you're Airbnb in it, and now you have another little business. And from there, you're disciplined.
Yeah.
And then you learn. And then I can teach you. Or I open your eyes to something. Now it catches your time. Now you're on YouTube watching videos on how to do that. Because now that's your next step. Yeah. You know, it's not, let's say, just a business owner's job to get you to build your dreams and get you to make all this money. Because it's not about the money at the end of the day. It's about your character. And if you don't have character, the money will never come your way.
The consistency with whatever trade you're in too. Like, people, we live in a fast-paced society and an instant gratification. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to learn whatever career it is, and the trades obviously in particular is what we're talking about, but people do work somewhere for 6 months or a year and expect either a raise or just like to magically move up. Mm-hmm. No, you have to, like you said, you have to really want it. So if you're stagnant in a company, no one's going to notice what you're doing. Maybe you're just like, oh, cool, you did another year, awesome. But then you have people, which I've met, I got some young guys now, Mr. CJ, much credit to him, that he'll always come up to me, what's next? What can I grow? What can I learn? Let's go. So people like that are going to skip the ones that maybe have been with you longer, but you're just stagnant, you're just hanging out. Now,
and that's what it is. Building is not for everybody. Growing is not for everybody.
We want people to get compensated correctly, but what we don't want to preach is just free money. Yeah. You know, or a raise for minimum raise the minimum wage. I don't want to paint the wrong picture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the labor,
which the raise it is 2025, guys. Florida will be $15 in September minimum. Today I think it's 13. September 2024 will be 14, and then 15 in 2025.
And that's
which
all
is a
fine.
Good thing.
You know, that's exactly, it's good. But if you want to break past that, you know, you have to continuously learn. Because if you just expect to sit in the background and then complain about your job and stuff like that, so it just takes you. I want to talk to the employee too, like you said. You know, there's a lot of podcasts that focus on business owner, and we have a mind of our own. Like
it's a different experience. We've been through different experiences. Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of podcasts in that sense. So after I did a couple episodes, on like the third or fourth one, I'm like, I think I need to resonate to the employee, and that's what's gonna help the industry as a whole. Because like that's what we hear a lot. We need help. I have work, but who's gonna do it? Who do I give this task to? And as a business owner, you want to trust people. You have to trust people, and then you see the results and see if it was worth it. But we want to inspire not just business owners. At the end of the day, you need a team, and hopefully whatever I say in the podcast, maybe the business owners that listen to the podcast would send it to their employees and be like, hey, stick through it, and you're gonna be taken care of. Don't expect 6 months of you coming to work, you get a trophy. There's no it's like the whole participation trophy thing. Like we need to break that cycle, because we've, in the youth, not all, can't speak for all, because I've hired some strong young guys, but the reality is a lot of them, the society has softened up in when it comes to stuff like that. You're not going to compare back in the 50s, some young kids that wanted to work and they're going to go at it hard, to now where they're like, man, this is hard. It's hot.
No, grown men. I think the Declaration of Independence, when these guys signed it, they were like 25, or like 24, 25 years old. So they were grown men at 14. That's like the guys that come, like, look at that, like the guys that come from other countries, which now the border's open and it's a wild, right? Yeah. But back in the day, these young men were 13, 14 years old, coming over as men, leaving their country, leaving the language, leaving the currency, leaving the marketplace, the economy of what they knew, to come over here and duke it out and work. And these were grown men at 14, 15 years old, dude. Like, for real. And they've gone through things and they've experienced things in their life, and they're here focused to get the job done. That we don't see, let's say, like that anymore in that aspect, not 100%. But for me, if you're driven to grow as an employee, you're only going to grow so much where you are, wherever you're working. And maybe where you're working isn't the place that's meant for you. Maybe you're called to go do something else. Like maybe you love super lavish, high-end landscapes, and that's something that just, it moves you. Maybe you need to go work at a company that does that. Yeah. Maybe you're right now, you're digging a hole, and you're like, man, I really love design. So now you start learning about it, and now you pitch it to your boss, and he's like, no, man, I got you. That's a sign for you to ride and grow. You don't have to stay in the same place forever. And that also puts pressure on the business owner. Yeah. Because a person that has a job, that gets a W-2, they're relying on their boss to make the right moves to be able to keep feeding them at the end of the day, the paycheck. Yeah. And if you see too, as a boss, guys, the pressure's on. If you're not moving, you're not playing the cards right, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing as a boss, your good guys might ride. They might not have trust in you anymore.
They're going to leave.
And which is supposed to happen at the end of the day, because they're looking for what's in their best interest for their family and for what they got to do on earth as a man. So, it's the pressure's on everybody.
For sure. A good example, our close friend, you know him too, Mr. Chris Pacheco.
Yes.
He is a great example of never quitting. Mm-hmm. He never quit. I've had other guys back and forth through the years, but Chris, and he'll be the first one to tell you, I wasn't the best laborer. Yeah. I only talk about it because I know he's not scared to say I wasn't that guy. Mm-hmm. But Chris, from day one that he got hired, he says, I want to help you not only work, I want to help you build this business.
That's fire.
And it wasn't easy. We had a lot of meetings, we had a lot of sit downs and changes and learning and growing, because it was new to me.
Yeah, bouncing ideas off each other.
So when things picked up with COVID, he was about to have a baby.
Wow.
So he was like, Paul, I know that it might not be in the field where I'm gonna get more money or where I can get my value. But what he didn't even know. He told me, Paul, I'll leave this one up to you. Like you just said, like, Paul, what can I do to make more money? Mm-hmm. And, he's having a kid. It's not like he's like he's not a guy that just spends, like, he's not a spender, right? Yeah. So it's like, this is for real. Yeah. So like you said, the pressure's on us. Like this guy's trying to raise a family.
He's throwing the ball to you to see what you're going to do.
Yeah. And as a business owner, that's the pressure that you take. You could be like, oh man, figure it out. I can only pay this much. No. What do we do? He started with the marketing.
Yeah.
So he does the videos. So you know what? do the videos, and then boom, you get a
which
little.
that was something he was intrigued with,
And then he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, and which he
you
was
see,
also.
guys, you don't have to. You don't stay in the same.
Exactly.
Opportunities will arise.
You can't be so narrow-minded
Yeah.
that you could help with other things. So he's a great example of how we transition. So.
That's the attitude, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's
all
the
way.
attitude.
And it's nice to see him grow. Sometimes I say like, he's got it better than me right now, because now he went from marketing, making the videos, we were learning, we got the hang of that.
Yeah.
Boom, okay, under our belt. And then so many calls started coming in. I felt like I was being like that typical contractor that was like, oh, I'll be there at what's the time? Can I go there tomorrow, or if not tomorrow?
Which, guys, that's so
Dude,
unprofessional.
You will win the job just by showing up when you say you will.
Just saying, hey, I'm booked. I can't be there till next week at Monday at 3:00.
He's
and that's more respectable.
He's
than,
a professional in that. Me, as the business owner, I get pulled in so many different directions. I'm like, I'm in the area. I guess I could pass by, and then you blow the meeting, or you're late an hour,
or you don't finish what you were doing.
Or you leave, that was another problem. Okay, cool. I'll go do estimates, and then I come back to the job site. I gotta fix everything. So we found a system where it's like, you know what? I'm not scared to be in the trenches. That's why I love that slogan. I'm not scared. You know what? I love the trenches. As every time I pick up the pickaxe, I know I'm gonna feel it later, but I enjoy it. And that's what I'm good at, because I'm watching the guys, making sure until they're ready. Yeah, cool. Maybe I'll step back a bit. But for the most part, I enjoy it, making sure the job gets done once, not 2 or 3 times. And then now calls started coming in. I said, you know what, Chris? You're my sales guy.
Answer the phone.
And so I'd get the DMs, pass it to Chris. Hey, no worries. My team's going to reach out. That's all I got to say. My team's going to reach out.
It makes you look more professional.
And Chris is very serious with his time.
I love that,
So if he's booked, he's booked. Me, I'll be like, I guess
he respects everybody. He respects the schedule.
And as a father, I know like how he is with his kids, so he's not gonna like let's which clients push you around a lot. Oh, come on, you can't call me on a Sunday morning. Like, no, I don't want to go there. Or I'm available at 6:30 p.m. Yeah, so am I with my wife at having dinner.
And that you have to balance that.
Yeah,
it can't be all work. Which I've been battling that for years. You know, my wife would always tell me, honey, when do you disconnect? And I always tell her, honey, I can't disconnect.
It's very hard.
It's just very hard. There's too much on my plate. But you find ways, when you find peace, to be able to say, you know what, my time is valuable, and I need to give my spouse time, and I need to give my kids time, and I need to give myself time.
Shout out to date night on Friday.
Straight up.
Friday date night. You got kids, so I can imagine it's tough. But I recommend it. That helps me, because my wife helps me a lot. Mm-hmm. So we have to kind of, spend it, time with the business.
Oh, you have to, man.
But a lot of conversations on roles has to be spoken and all that, to make sure we're both on the same page. Back to Chris. Now 3 years, 4 years almost down the line, Chris doesn't pick up any tools. He doesn't pick up a weed whacker no more.
And he's created a new stream, a new opportunity for the business.
Now he's strictly commission based. He's closing deals. He's doing what he's got to do.
He's making more than when he was outside, right?
Yeah, more, or let's say even the same. You're not in the field, because he said it's not my thing. Like, the field is as cool.
And then is that that's not a full-time thing?
Yeah, so that's what he does.
So
all he does.
I know that's all he does, but I'm saying he's not on the phone all day. He does marketing. So he's free to do whatever he feels he needs to do and get done for the team.
That's why I say he's got it better than me. I'm like, he's just...
And he can be with his kid.
Yeah. It's super...
I see him at the gym. I used to see him at the gym in the morning, but he's shifted his schedule.
Well, yeah, it feels good as a business owner having that position, being able to, like, and remembering where we were just a couple years ago. So and then now to bring on the new guy, Mr. CJ, young guy, he's like early 20s. And he's genuinely hungry. Like, when you see someone hungry, you know. Mm-hmm. You can't just talk the talk, and
they don't even gotta open their mouth. You already feel it.
So, and then it's nice, because since we already did the groundwork, Pacheco just handed over the baton to him, and now he's catching on to the marketing, and he's a laborer now. But who knows where he'll be in 2 years, 3 years? He might be another guy getting me, condo jobs, who knows?
Yeah.
But you have to see the long-term vision and let your guys, if that's what if they want to spread their wings a bit, you can't be like, no, man, you're a field guy and leave it at that.
And that has a lot to do with you too, man. That has a lot to do with the business owner. Having a relationship with your guys, knowing what their strong suits are, or them feeling comfortable enough to open up to you and make a suggestion. That's not the norm.
Yeah.
That's not the norm, and then a lot of business owners are set in stone. That's how it is. You ain't moving the rock.
Yeah.
Nothing new. No, we're not doing that because they're scared because they don't feel confident in that, or whatever it is. And then pass the baton. No, I don't want to pass the baton. But that's how you grow. I've seen you grow bigger over the years that I've met you, that I've known you. And one of the things now, putting it all together, is you delegating. My business grew 2.5 times in 3 years by delegating.
Yeah.
And not being and holding on to everything, that I got to do it. No, let go of it. Like, it gets to a point, Paul, that money doesn't bring peace.
Yeah.
Because to get the money, it's chaotic. So then it gets to a point where you realize that the only way to make this peaceful is to create opportunities for others and use that money and invest it into that. That way they can live off, let's say what they're dreaming and their vision is. And now I'm buying myself time to go after what's the most important things in my business.
Time, yeah.
And look, now, like, you're called, right? So now you're called to leave your business for an hour, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Here you are today. It's a Friday, guys. We're recording this. It's almost lunchtime. So you left your business to do this because you feel like this is something that's calling you. You have to go do. And then the podcast, it's like, I got to dedicate time to record it. I got to think about what I'm going to talk about. I got to record it. Then we have to edit it if we do. And then maybe we make a reel or two and we post it up on all the social media platforms, whatever it is. That takes time. That costs money. And if it's not money coming out of your pocket to do it, it's money that you weren't able to produce any money. But it's something that you have to do. And what's beautiful about what you're doing, brother, is you never know where it's going to be, where it's going to go, who's going to reach out. You never know who needs to hear that, the things that you're talking about. And you can inspire and shift people's emotions, shift people's mental state. It's more powerful than today.
Yeah. I'm a podcast junkie.
Yeah,
I like to call myself that. And I hear a lot of podcasts daily. And there was a few guys, Paul Jameson. That's one of the ways we met.
Paul, we love you, man. Yeah. We were talking about you right before we jumped on here.
Much love to Paul Jameson.
We're moving hard.
He holds it down. Then you got the Caleb and Brian. Mm-hmm. You got all these guys. And so...
you guys have a lot of podcasts in your world.
Yeah. The lawn care. And I feel like that's one thing that we have to hold down here in South Florida. Like, it's just us, man.
I know.
But hearing their podcast was just always like smack in the face to me because of reminding me all the stuff I was doing wrong. And they'll tell you, I did the same thing too. But
that's how they learn.
Here's where I'm at. And they're very clear, open with their stuff. And Tom Reber talks about don't let customers waste your time. So now I'm in the design world and people are like, oh, I like this, but I like that. I want this, but I have a budget of this much. So you get people, now you got the clients tugging you around. When you cut grass, you tell them one time that year, it's going to be $50.
Yeah.
You don't got to ask them again. And like
credit card on file and done. Yeah.
But now design. Okay, but what are you bringing? Let me see. No. Can you change this? Can you change that? And then they don't approve. So then there's podcasts, the Tom Reber Contractor Fight. It talks strictly about don't let people waste your time. So like things like that, you never know who's listening. They don't know I exist. I always talk about that. And Caleb and Brian, they didn't know I existed at one point. Now, I've gone on trips. I've gone on trips with them. So, but you never know who you're gonna impact, man. Yeah. So keep doing what you're doing, bro. And people are watching, bro. People are listening. We have a couple buddies in the industry that always, like your name will pop up. Oh, Willie was talking about this. Make sure we gotta stay on our edge. We gotta stay on edge.
That's what it's about, man. It's not about the money. It's about leaving something and teaching others, dude. Like, you've been through hell, right? Yeah. I've been through hell. Like and we walked through it, and we've learned a lot. And there's others that they're on step 3, and you're on step 1500. You know, so to guide somebody at step 3 super easy because it was cake. You know, it's cake now that you're way past that.
Yeah.
You know, and you can guide people. Like for me, I love talking about the market. I like to talk about a lot of different things, but on this podcast, it's very catered to only plants. But I'm just not a plant guy, guys.
We make it it look easy, right? We make it look easy,
but it's you know, guiding people, you know, on business and your credit. Like, do you know? Like, the reason people do what they do is because they don't know that if they hold out for this much longer, then this door opens, and when that door opens, get ready, guys. It's gonna be a flood of just you know, abundance, and then from there you can just continue. And you know, like you're right there, man. Just hold on. Just no instant gratification, you know.
Exactly.
Hold your credit, you know. Think about it, you know. Nothing is worth more than what you're after, you know. Not a car, not nothing. And we teach a lot about that in the market. The market's super important, man. Dude, there's so much money out here, man. There's so much money and opportunities. People constantly
complain about Miami and being expensive, this and that. Look, my Instagram is Miami Landscaping, and I ain't going nowhere. And in general, maybe ask me 15 years, maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, I love my city, and this is where I was put to be. And you seeing all this money coming in from other places, everybody wants to be here. Why would I leave? You know. So you talk about
the money's coming here.
You talk a lot about being with the 1%, and that is a topic that cannot be underestimated because the people that are coming are with money, and they're highly successful, elite, whatever you want to call it. And things have been getting rough for, once again, the middle class. The middle class always takes the hit, and lower middle class lower class, they're never going to do a landscape design. You know, it's just a luxury.
Oh, they might, but it'll be $3, $4, $5 grand.
Yeah. So, exactly. But the people that are coming, and Miami keeps growing, like there is work. We just have to tap into that. And
So the thing that I preach and what I think is something that I thought about 4 or 5 years ago, from the fear of the economy crashing and everything that I've built or that I've been able to be a part of building with people that look at me to see what move you're going to make, boss.
Yeah.
And then friends and family and everybody else. It's like, we have to do something impactful. How can I ride through a recession? How can I ride through a recession? The rich people, okay, the money comes from the top. So how can we structure a company with products and services that will end up in their hands? You know, because we're not dealing with the rich guy. We're dealing with the guy that services the rich guy. So
Correct.
What can we do that hasn't been done, or that has been done, but make it that much better to make these guys stand out and put all our effort into building our customers?
Yeah.
You know, not building us. It's building everything, the mentality, the mindset, the products, the services, the things that we've added on. We've added on, I don't know, Eddie, how many things have we added on? We've added a million things, right? But it's catering to them.
Yeah.
So for you guys listening, and how do I get into the top? It's think outside the box. It starts with answering the phone, being a man of your word, and going after the things that scare you.
Yeah.
No, the things that scare you. You get a call for a landscape job that your normal landscapes are 10 grand and now this one's for 50. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
That's your opportunity, man. What are you going to do to make it happen? Make it happen. You know, use the best products you can source, because the rich people don't care about the money, guys.
We saw it already during COVID. A lot of people were scared or just simply at home, like enjoying some time like with the family or whatever. But there was very wealthy people that weren't used to not working.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know what? Why don't I work on my house?
Yeah.
And then, you know, those were the people that were keeping us busy, because they're probably so tied up in their day to day. Since they say, hey, everything's shut down, it's like, hey, man, I got some time for myself now. And some of the best clients I met were during those times. These guys were just cash rolling these jobs out, but maybe throughout the year they're so busy they're not even thinking about their landscaping. So like a recession, your average person might be, you know, having worries and stressed, but then this guy's like, everyone's going crazy, let me go.
No, the money, I look at it as the money the middle class doesn't have, the rich have it.
Yeah.
If you think about it. Okay? So that's where the money is. It's think on what you can do and what you can create to service that community, and that will help you ride out the train. Another thing I've noticed is middle class has gotten hit super duper hard because the middle class has credit. They can buy the new cars. They can buy the new boat. They can have the new house. But then they're relying on a paycheck, cash flow to come in. So if that paycheck slows down or their hours get cut or they lose their job or anything like that, right? Any hiccups, something else new that gets tackled on. You have twins, God knows what is in store for you. There's less and less and less funds to go and spend on what we do. What we do is for people who have money. At the end of the day, like, unless you're cutting your grass, because that's something you have to do. Otherwise, you're going to have rats in your house. If you look at that and you fall into that category of someone that was servicing that middle class that got dissipated, you have to move. You have to move, and fast, because you know how fast money goes. And the bills and employees and just everything, you have to move.
And that's back to, social media. That's why we have to be aggressive on social media, because there's competition ready to take the job. So the more we're out there and exposing and doing different things through social media, that's why the Landscape Brotherhood and the Tradesmen stuff, I'm sure clients see that and say, hey, this is not only a landscaper, but a guy that genuinely cares for his industry. So that might give you the job over a guy that just posts a couple pictures about his cool landscapes.
Yeah.
So obviously your work has to match what you preach, but some people are scared to post their face and stuff like that. People want to see.
But I guess people do want to see, but I service some huge landscape companies that these guys don't even have IG.
They don't do none of that.
They don't have IG, and they're massive, and they're booked, and so it's not that. IG is a form of exposure, guys. I don't want you to think that you're going to spend $1,000 paying some guy to do some crazy video for you, and that's it. You hit a home run.
It's
Bitcoin hit $1 million.
The small wins, this little small.
It's not like that, and that discourages people from wanting to go on there, because then they build themselves up to finally overcome the fear of I'm gonna make a post. And then you make the post and nothing happens, and you're like, I'm done with that. for real, and it's consistency. I've been doing my stories 3.5 years. I actually went the other day all the way back, and into my gallery. I was looking for pictures of my children, and I saw when I first started doing it. I was reminiscing crazy when I was looking through those photos, but it was horrible. It was not how I was today. I was scared. I was nervous. I wasn't myself. I was somebody else.
That's funny. Well, me and Eddie were talking before we started that you don't know how long, but you've been consistent. So how many people have you inspired or just learned about you or vice versa throughout those years? So I have a couple clients that I was just working with now. They told me they've been watching for 3 years,
and now they call you.
So what if you stop posting? Look, what if you got tired? I'm wasting my time.
That happens a lot. We had one customer tell us, he's a big boy, heavy hitter, and he goes, man, I felt left out. I felt left behind not using you to service us. And then he got tired of dealing with, the people that don't come through. That's why it's so important to come through. There's no excuses. That's a slogan that I say. There's no excuse. There isn't an excuse. There's no excuse, guys. If you're here to perform, you perform. And if you can't perform, get out. Let somebody else perform. You don't deserve it.
I don't want nobody to hear no excuse, man.
For real, there's no excuses. Hey, I'm sorry. You don't want to tell people you're sorry. You are sorry. You are sorry. Get out of my face. And then now that we are in a recession, we're in global economy catastrophe, and we're in just all this craziness that's going on, you have to stand out. You have to shine. You have to come through. You have to answer the phone. You have to throw your ego on the floor. Respect, obviously, yourself, but you have to go and do it, man. There's no excuses, man. There's no excuses. And one opportunity turns into 10, and those 10 turn into 100. And if you don't see it like that, then you got to get enlightened. In my perspective, you have to do something to stand out. It doesn't have to be social media. It doesn't have to be a video. It doesn't have to be none of that. It could be as easy as picking up the phone and being honest. I love it when I call a nursery and whatever they described it as, that's exactly what it is. Okay, because we buy product to sell to the landscapers.
It's looking good. Come pick it up.
Pick it up. We get there as trash. No, that's the reality, man. So when you're honest and you're real and you're not thinking about, because those people are thinking about what they need today to pay their bills. You can't look for yourself. This is a great explanation. You can't look at it for yourself. You have to look at it in your client's best interest. Yeah. And if you do that and you're honest every time, that's it. Your client doesn't have to go anymore. Maybe your client says, hey, can you grow me 10,000 of this? Yeah. And now you start building opportunities by being honest and doing things correctly. And that's what we preach, bro. What is supposed to be done, from you to be able to grow. And it might not be 100%, for everyone's case, but for me, that's what's worked. Do things properly. There are proper ways of doing it, and it's not in your best interest. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's not like that. You don't win every day.
Question, do you do like actual coaching for certain people or?
Yeah, so we opened up the coaching. I've been coaching for a long time, just not realizing it, guiding people in this industry, garden centers, landscapers, nurseries, but also just in life, man.
Yeah.
When you look at things in a different way, it's like you feel confident speaking to somebody. But we launched it on the website, theplantmovement.com. Nice. And you could check it out there. Whether you have money to do coaching or if you don't have money, we'll do it with you too. Because there's other ways of compensating for it.
Cool.
We want people to grow, man. And just like the passion you have for the industry that you're in, the green industry as a whole, like for us, what we do, the nursery side of things, I would love to see more younger dudes out here.
Yeah.
And then this is an industry.
We're relying on them,
Yeah, we're relying on them.
The older cats are only gonna, obviously, we're 30, you're
35.
35. Yeah, we're in our prime, you would call it. But we need those young guys that are gonna help us out because I've one of the reasons why I grow my beard is because if I didn't, I'd look young. So then people don't take you as serious. You're just a kid. So we have to now, inspire the rest because the older guys, they might have respect, but I feel like in my experience, like they don't always have that full trust, or maybe they don't take you as serious. It's like, you're just a kid. So by the time they're done, retired, we're the ones that are up next. So we have to guide people so we have a proper team to help us because we can't do it by ourselves.
Yeah, for me, I see it like that as well, and then create opportunities for them. So when someone's young, these are great explanations for you guys listening. Let's say you want to start a nursery and you're like, I don't even know where to start. Boom, you call us, you get us, we get that free coaching going on. Right now, I have guys that are eager, hungry. They've come here, they sat down, they've got impacted, they've been hit with just an abundant feeling of energized and let's go, let's grow. What do? I'm going to give you an opportunity. Do this for me, and this for me, and this for me. Go do that. And call me.
Nice.
So they go do this. And I tell them, okay, now go do this. And now they go do this. And then now I'll give them money.
Yeah.
Here, bro. Here's bread. I'm prepaying, half up front. I believe in you now because you showed me that I can trust you. So now, boom, here you go, bro. Bam. Create opportunities.
No, and I can imagine in your space, it's
a lot of
that.
Have to I rely on a lot of guys.
Be very creative with the land. The land, it's not easy to come by. So maybe or a certain crop.
No, it's expensive, man.
Yeah, no, but there's ways. Crop, and it's like, hey, you want to grow this? Cool. I don't grow it.
But I know things that for me, let's say, is a waste of time today based off where the business is today. But for someone else, it's the opportunity to start. And it's easy to guide somebody. It goes back to that. It's easy to guide somebody on where to start and then what to grow. I don't know what to grow. I open up the encyclopedia of plants, and there's 8 million plants. You're going to grow this for me, and this for me. And for any of you veterans listening, create opportunities for those that are hungry.
Yeah.
That is part of the process, part of your job. At the end of the day, create opportunities. You are powerful. You have a book of knowledge. You might have some money put away. You can bless somebody more than you can imagine by giving them opportunities. And anyone that's eager, I'm all about creating opportunities. I'd love to create my opportunities. I always say that. Go create your opportunities. Because no one's going to create them for you, dude. And you just showing up eager and hungry, that's you going after creating an opportunity that now someone else can water that seed. For real, man.
Yeah.
And I see it like that.
You got to be smart enough and trust,
trust your feeling, trust your emotion and go. That's why, I call it the devil, the little devil on your shoulder. He don't want you to win, He doesn't want you to do that.
Yeah. No, it's tough. No, you got to have faith. You got to have faith.
You got to have faith. That's why I wore this shirt. For you guys listening, I have a shirt that says faith. Then it has a line and it says fear. So faith over fear. And my faith is very strong. I walk with him, dude. There's way too much going on. Way too many decisions that you have to try to calculate to say that you did it on your own, man.
No,
you
never,
know?
never.
For me, bro, I put all my faith in him, bro, because with that, I have peace. And I have my guy. See, I don't have nobody to mentor me. I don't have anybody that I can talk to. I don't have nobody to call.
Yeah,
so the
it
person I
really,
talk to is the man upstairs, and me and him have a tighter relationship. And the more I talk to him, the tighter it becomes, and the more he shows me how real he is. That's where my mind has been taking me. Because it is, Paul. There's just too much. There's so many opportunities that are created, so many opportunities that are given, and just so many powerful things that happen that it's not from this world.
Yeah,
it's from somewhere else.
It's actually been, I've been doing a lot of thinking of how I'm gonna take, like, where I'm gonna take the Landscape Brotherhood, like the meetups.
Talk about that real quick. The Landscape Brotherhood, guys. Talk about that real quick for the guys that don't know what that is.
So basically, we created a brotherhood, a group, and it started off as just landscapers. We got a couple tree guys and design guys too. So we
plant guys, nursery guys,
nursery dudes, and we would get together. We'll have a couple beers or whatever, and we'll just try to stay together, give each other work, make sure we stay, you know. And one thing has been loyalty, you know, and you know that these guys you could work with, and you know, now you learn how they work. So we built that group, and then what I've done is meetups. So we'll have some younger guys or some guys that may look up to us. So they ask us some questions, like you said. But what I've done a good amount of them. I've been doing it for about a year and a half, and I've met some great connections or people that you see on social media, but you want to get together. Yeah. You know, it's a good time to, like, you know, maybe network and talk it out and see where you guys can help. I'm trying to transition it with the Tradesmen, so we can get not only landscapers, but, you know, we have
everybody.
We have some painters, some demo guys,
construction, hardscape, everybody.
Yeah, so that way everybody kind of like can benefit off of that. Where I'm struggling to take it is I want it to be a good time, because every time we go, everybody has a really good time, but I don't want it to be a party either. I want it still to be a good time, but informational.
Yeah, I think
so.
I think it should be. I think it should be someone talking.
Yeah.
Right, where it sets the tone of professionalism.
Because that's like almost a seminar now, you know.
Well,
so
it shouldn't be a seminar. It shouldn't be a seminar. It shouldn't be a seminar. Networking is people talking amongst each other, and they start to form little groups, and then no one's really talking to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's not one message being sent to everybody.
Correct.
So I feel like it could be like a message being sent, and then groups being formed, and it could be a little bit of everything. And if you want to have alcohol and drink, you can. Yeah. Me, I wouldn't mix it just because, you know, you're on a mission.
Maybe,
you
at
know?
the end.
Maybe at the end. Maybe at the end. You know.
But yes, back to the financing, all that stuff. So I was working with what I had. You know, I've been going through a lot with the business as far as financial stuff. So I can't be like, hey, let's do this big old event. You know, because I see other people doing it.
Yeah, you can't be influenced.
Yeah,
bro.
It's cool. It looks great, but where am I at right now?
No, and they're making money off of it.
Yeah.
You know, and they're there.
And not necessarily. Their businesses might be making a lot more profit than where I'm at right now. Yeah. Not even the events. They'll tell you the events are a wash. It's for the community.
Yeah, but it's also a write-off. It's also exposure. It's also.
And yes, like the long-term stuff. Maybe that event is one time, but they sign up to your membership monthly, whatever.
There's opportunities there.
Yeah, but like we've spoke before, like if we're gonna do it, we're going to do it right, all in. It's going to take some money. So I've been doing it in a way where it's a very low expense. It's just like a meetup, a gathering.
No, it doesn't have to be crazy.
No,
bro.
Exactly.
I bet people
we've had
would enjoy
great
that.
results. We've had great results. People that come over time and time again, and we get to catch up. We, you know, we vent a little bit because like sometimes people don't understand us. You know, like as business owners, as landscapers, you know, we try to relate with other people, and it's like, you know, they have totally different careers or just not blue collar at all. So it's nice to have like guys like kind of let their ideas out and just express that you're not alone. That's one thing I talk about a lot. We're not alone. Sometimes it may feel that way, but there's always someone there.
One thing that could be good that we've implemented on a bunch of things that we're doing is a form that people fill out. So like before they go, you make a form, you create a form on PDF and you send it to everybody and everybody fills it out. It's part of their being able to go.
Yeah. And
it's the hurting the questions of where you're lacking, where do you feel you need help in?
Yeah.
You know, all those type of things to actually create the value.
A little structure.
So it's not just guys talking about, yeah, bro, I went on the boat, I caught a dolphin.
Well, that's what's been nice about.
No, it's nice.
Like if you hang out with your buddies, they're talking about the boat.
They're talking about.
But you put all these blue collar guys, yo, my Bobcat, and this and that, and then it's funny because like. I would be a long period of time with my friends or people that
and they might not relate to you,
and they're talking about all this other stuff that has, and they might be contractors too. But the guys that are in this industry, in this niche, and following the social media like that genuinely want to grow, that's where their head's at.
Yeah, man, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you it doesn't stray. The conversation doesn't stray, but for the most part, everybody's talking about work, and it's nice. Like, man, other people that genuinely love their work, compared to like someone complaining or whatever. We don't want no complainers either, but it's nice to find other people like-minded that it's like, oh man, this guy works. He's a workaholic too. I'm a workaholic. You're a workaholic. Versus other people be like, oh, come on, tell your employees to do that, man. Come on, come and play. Yeah. So it's nice finding that group. Still trying to make some structure out of it because I want it to be enjoyable, but obviously beneficial to, you want it to return
for your
and
time,
learn and
you want to make an impact on the people that go. If they fill out a questionnaire and now you know where everybody's lacking.
I like that.
That can be spoke about in the beginning. Hey guys, we're gonna have fun, but there's things that everyone filled out, and here's some of the things.
Yeah.
So guys, if any of you can enlighten somebody on this. Maybe go speak to them and let them know where you were.
We've had some legit guys show up. I know CS Landscaping came by one time. Sergio, man, that guy, he popped in. That guy knows a lot, man, a lot. So you got that man for a little bit, and you can pick his brain. He's a super cool guy, and you can pick his brain, and he
open. Wants to talk to you and guide you.
He's super open.
And these are all guys that are in the same guys. These are all landscapers.
Yeah.
That they're all competing in the marketplace.
Yeah,
technically. Think about it. So they put all that to the side to really form something more special than what society has it, that you can't speak to the guy that does the same thing you do. Don't give them your secrets.
It has been a challenge because that's why I want to open
but
it
it's
up
been
a little
broken.
bit.
But it's been broken. You're breaking it. Just like we're breaking it with this podcast.
For sure.
And you're going to break it now with your podcast.
For sure. It has been because I wanted to bring in other trades so we can mix it a little bit more.
Well, they all intertwine.
Exactly. But my good friend, another Sergio also, Sublime.
Yeah.
Great guy. Learned a lot from his father as well. He's been in the industry many, many years. It comes to a point where like, damn, we do a lot of the same work. So where do we take this? He's really good at turf. It's a great place to find a subcontract. Someone has
a better hand doing this, and that's where you can sub them out.
I'm not going to tell you I don't do tree work, but, we work
Your
it
boy.
out. Yeah,
we got a
bring
boy.
our people. So, and unless, you have the company that has all these fleets and all these operations, which comes with a lot of stress. So I asked myself, okay, do I really want to do this turf and try to do it myself and get the guys and stress out and the cuts or just make some easy money?
It all depends on what you like,
over,
man.
Yeah.
The people, let me tell you, the guys that are doing a lot, that they have all that, they're
stressed and debt and
maybe not.
No?
It depends on who they are.
Depends, yeah.
Because I know people that move a lot and they're not stressed, man. They're
chilling. They hold down every division
because they've delegated it.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Awesome.
Guys, I hope you like this episode. Me and Paul, we have a relationship at this point, so the podcast is a little different.
Yeah.
But I always have fun talking to you, man, because we can bounce stuff off of each other and we learn from each other. And I hope you guys took something from today's podcast. This is Paul Capote. You can find him on Instagram at The Miami Landscaper. Is it The Miami Landscaper?
Miami Landscaper.
Miami Landscaper. The Landscape Brotherhood, which might shift to become the podcast name.
Yes.
What was the name of the podcast
We
again?
the Tradesmen.
We the Tradesmen. You don't have an IG open for that yet?
No.
Okay.
For now, it's on the
Well, you can
Landscape
find
Brotherhood.
it where? Spotify, Apple Music?
Apple. I'm going to add it to Spotify very soon. But yes, right now it's on Apple.
Okay. So it's on Apple, guys. If you want to listen to it, you have episode 1 out only. And you're going to be pumping them out, every couple of weeks? Every month?
Once a week.
Once a week. So he's going to be pumping them out every week, guys. Pressure's on, Paul.
Yeah. No, I committed to that.
On,
I wanted to make sure I commit to a certain amount. And they'll be quick, so...
We started off every week and we went to 2 weeks. And sometimes it goes to 3 because life just doesn't let you sit down and speak, at that moment. It is what it is.
It's true. But it's better to give off something good than just to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to stick to 1 a week. Some people do 2, 3. Jameson's doing
Paul does one every day.
One every day.
Yeah.
You back.
No, but you build yourself to do that, and if you feel that that's what's calling you more, and you can see ways to be able to, let's say monetize or do anything with it on the podcast side, then it's just more delegating on what your tasks are to free up your time to go do that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah. Wait till you have a kid. Your time's going to be delegated because if not, you're not going to see your kid and your girl's going to be mad all day. And that's the reality. That's what's helped me delegate. Guys, we love you. Stay tuned. The next podcast, you already know, guys, we're going to continue to bring the fire. Paul, again, thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
And bringing, just love and everything to this podcast.
Sir. So honesty. Clarity.
Guys, God bless. All right? Be safe. Bye. We love you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of The Plant Movement. Willie and Eddie invite you to connect with them on Instagram at both The Plant Movement Podcast and A's Ornamental Nursery. Those links are in the show description. Please leave us a well-worded 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help others find the show. And remember to tap the follow button so that you'll be notified when the next edition of The Plant Movement is available.